Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, is the BBC cutting DEI? First though, a homophobic TikToker's crying his little heart out over AI videos portraying him as gay. Harrison Sullivan, aka HS TikToky, says, y'all better stop this or it's going to get legal.
I'm not happy with them, especially the ones that make me out to be zesty, the ones that make me out to be doing makeup. It is actually defamation at this point. I'm actually taking it there.
It isn't, sweetheart, but carry on.
People are seeing them videos, yeah? I've got family members, my uncle, calling me going, why are you doing makeup? Like, you're defaming me to people that I care about. I will take legal action.
Love it when a man talks tough. By the way, despite a fair bit of evidence to the contrary knocking about, Harrison denies being a homophobe, says he's got a gay mate he's partied with in Ibiza. Case closed, Your Honour.
Pride Daily.
A transgender woman who lied about being a biological male to a partner has been jailed for 21 months for sexual assault. Kira Watkin from Thornaby in northeast England performed sex acts on a man who says he wouldn't have consented if he'd known. The 21-year-old's identified as female since she was 13 but hasn't had surgery. A court heard she claimed to be on her period to stop the guy feeling below her waist.
Pride Daily.
And the BBC's denying claims it's rowing back on its diversity training. Comes after confirmation 2 programmes on trans and LGBTQ+ inclusion have been paused, with 2 others amended to remove mentions of pronouns and gender self-ID. The broadcaster says it's waiting for government guidance following a UK Supreme Court ruling that sex only refers to biological sex. No time to tell you that San Francisco's only homeless shelter for queer adults has tripled in size thanks to an $18 million city grant awarded to Jazzy's Place. And the Iris Prize LGBTQ+ Film Festival kicks off later in Cardiff in South Wales.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, Europride's heading to Ireland. First though, transgender activist Miss Major Griffin Gracie has died at the age of 78. Mama, as she was also known, spent more than half a century fighting for LGBTQ+ rights in America, especially those of black trans women. She was part of 1969's Stonewall Uprising in New York and fought for people living with HIV and AIDS there in the 1980s. Miss Major told CBC's Q with Tom Power what she loved most about transgender people.
Our resilience, okay, you knock me down and I'm going to get up and stop this from happening to me a second time. And that with all that we've gone through, we're still there. We're still going to rise. We're still going to get up, dust ourselves off, change our outfit, and go out there again and again and again.
She also advocated for transgender women in prison. Miss Major set up the House of Gigi 6 years ago as a safe haven for trans people.
Pride Daily.
Next, the backlash to a new LGBTQ+ bar saying its preferred clientele's young gay men has led to a name change for the Australian venue before it's even opened. Pink Pony in Sydney was inspired by the Chapel Rowan song Pink Pony Club, but many people pointed out that as a lesbian, she's not in the target audience. The owners have acknowledged some very passionate feedback and say it's best to move forward with a different name.
Pride Daily.
And Europride 2028 is going to be in Limerick and Clare in the west of Ireland, where they love the crack. First time there for the annual festival, which moves around Europe each year, having started in London back in 1992. They've beaten off competition from Manchester in the UK. No time to tell you that bisexual singer Missy Higgins has won an Australian Women in Music Award for her songwriting. Says the trophy's a cool shape and for a cool thing.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, an anti-queer school opt-out falls flat. First though, 3 men and a throuple all want legal recognition as the dads of a little girl they've just adopted. Jonathan Bédard, Eric LeBlanc and Justin Mahou are in Quebec, which, unlike other Canadian provinces, only acknowledges 2 parents in a family unit. A Superior Court judge has ruled that's unconstitutional and demanded a change in the rules, but Quebec's appealing. The men who are suing tell CTV they're disappointed by the opposition.
We are lucky to be 3 to give her all that support, but I think we're the lucky ones to have her in our life. We're saddened from the fact that we're not backed by our own government, which is supposed to be an open government that wants to help every single family.
Currently, throuples are legally recognised as parents in provinces including Ontario and Saskatchewan.
Pride Daily.
Next, a German bishop who's a long-time queer ally has been pushing back against some spiteful, bigoted colleagues. All to do with a pilgrimage of LGBTQ+ people to the Vatican last month and the response of 4 other bishops who've organised a prayer of reparation to make amends. Auxiliary Bishop Ludger Schapers calling it narrow-minded, an act of exclusion and shameful.
Pride Daily.
And after a US school district was forced to let kids be opted out of anything with the merest whiff of LGBTQ+, hardly any parents have actually bothered to. Only 58 requests have been received in Maryland on religious grounds, off the back of a Supreme Court ruling a few months back. 160,000 students in the district, and it works out at 0.03% will be removed from classes and get less than a fully rounded education. Great parenting. No time to tell you that. YouTubers Dan and Phil have confirmed they've been in a relationship the last 16 years. And a pub in the Scottish Highlands has cancelled its Harry Potter night after criticism due to the views of the author, Harry's wicked grandma, on trans people.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw. It's Pride Daily's 2nd birthday. Coming up on episode 635, why Oscar's just wild about the British Library. First though, fears an upcoming social media ban for all under 16s in Australia could leave queer young people without access to support. Comes into effect on December the 10th, aimed at protecting children from the likes of cyberbullying, harmful content and paedophiles. But with socials off limits, finding other LGBTQ+ kids to interact with will be harder, especially for those in remote areas. Vero Lee and Joe Ball are LGBTQ+ advocates.
Online spaces have provided a really, a vital place for young people to explore themselves, find their community.
And the most devastating consequence for a young person is that they feel completely alone. And that's the challenge ahead of us.
Thanks to Australia's ABC, it's going to be the first ban of its kind anywhere. Denmark's considering one for kids aged under 15.
Pride Daily.
Turkey's planning to threaten LGBTQ+ couples and transgender people with prison. Its hard-right government, which banned pride marches a decade ago, has presented a judicial reform package to Parliament for consideration. 1 to 3 years inside for same-sex engagement or wedding ceremonies, and the same for being out as trans.
Pride Daily.
And Oscar Wilde's reading pass for the UK's National Library, which was revoked 130 years ago due to his homosexuality, is being presented to his grandson today. The withdrawal in 1895 followed the author and playwright's imprisonment for gross indecency with men. Mervyn Holland will receive the symbolically reinstated pass later during an event at the British Library in London. No time to tell you that. Trans and intersex people in the Virgin Islands can now change their gender markers on official documents, follows the signing of an executive order by the governor of the US territory. And it's Spirit Day, raising awareness about the bullying and harassment of LGBTQ+ young people.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw. Coming up, the title of Red, White and Royal Blue 2. First though, a Christian couple have lost their licence to foster children because they won't commit to respecting any kid's LGBTQ+ identity. Lydia and Heath Marvin from Massachusetts in America have refused to sign a non-discrimination policy. It requires them to support and affirm a young person's sexuality or gender identity and rules out conversion therapy.
We had asked, is there any sort of accommodation? Can you waive this at all? We will absolutely love and support and care for any child in our home, but we simply can't agree to go against our Christian faith in this area. And we're ultimately told, no, you must sign the form as is or else you will be delicensed.
Thanks to CBS Boston, the American Academy of Pediatrics says almost a third of young people in foster care in the US identify as LGBTQ+, and 5% as transgender.
Pride Daily.
What's described as a game-changing 6 times a year injection to prevent HIV is being approved for use in England and Wales. Cabotegravir, for anyone who can't take tablets known as PrEP to protect against the virus. This might be due to difficulty swallowing, concerns family or housemates might find the pills, or because they're living with domestic violence.
Pride Daily.
The long-awaited sequel to queer rom-com Red, White and Royal Blue has finally got a title. Nicholas Galitzine, who's Britain's Prince Henry, and Taylor Zachar Perez, playing Alex, the son of the US president, they're returning for Red, White and Royal Wedding. No details yet on how their love story is going to progress, and it's a while off yet anyway, with production yet to start. No time to tell you that. Gender Fluid Visibility Week starts today. Irish Rugby hosts its first ever Pride Round tomorrow, and Asexual Awareness Week kicks off on Sunday. Subscribe to Pride Daily so you never miss an episode. That's your lot. I'll see you next week.